to the Athletes in Motion podcast, From Race to Recovery, with your hosts, Tom Riegel and Kenny Bailey.
Kenny, how are you today?
Doing fantastic, Tom. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic as well. Welcome. We've got a good show today.
Yeah, we're excited about it. So it's the beginning of the season for triathlon season. People are going to be crawling out of their caves soon and doing all that. We're also here to announce that our second season of an athlete's journey, a triathlete's journey, is going to be commencing soon. We're excited about that.
Really excited about that. We had such a good time last year. If you're just tuning in, you're just catching on to us, check it out. We talked to 3 different athletes that did 3 different distances for the first time. So it was really fun. We got really good feedback on it. So we're excited. We've got a couple of cool people coming up this year to do the same. So
yeah, and the whole notion of it is to be able to track these folks from the start of their training session all the way through. Every few weeks, we check in with them. We make sure they're doing okay. We talk about the highs and lows you know, as we all know, these journeys aren't a straight line. There's challenges. There's everything from physical issues to just overwork or whatever. So we talk about the good and the bad and the ugly through the whole thing.
Yeah,
so.
and we like to really focus in on the stuff that doesn't go right? Because a lot of stuff doesn't go right. You've got a lot of challenges you go through, so that's what we want you to be able to kind of get that feeling for and relate to in your own journey as you go through. It's not always perfect. Mm-hmm. It's not always smooth sailing like you would see on Instagram. It's not perfect. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of bumps on the road, and how do you handle the bumps? How do you get through all of that stuff? That's the thing we're trying to bring out the best.
Yeah, so if you're a subscriber, you'll get the latest notifications that the new episodes will be coming up. So you know, make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for the next few weeks. Look out for some really cool episodes.
Yeah, we got some good stuff coming out. So we're beginning of March here in Middle Tennessee. We have a beautiful rainy day today, which means that everything is growing. The humidity is picking back up. It's warmer. We're getting back into conditions that we can get outside a little bit more regularly. And especially on the bike.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, Tom. As rumor has it, you're a tri coach.
I've been known.
So, like you said, the weather is getting warmer. People are coming out of their caves. They're starting to take a look at sort of the training program. Yeah. Okay, I'm circling things on the calendar that this is what I want to do. How do they start sort of getting back into it? What should they, movement is great. Is there good kind of movement, bad kind of movement? What should they start doing? Yeah,
I always encourage everyone to get started probably a little slower than they want to, because it's a longer journey. I always look longer term. Mm-hmm. Getting out there and starting to hit your big sprints and pushing big watts on the bike outside. It might be fun, and you're probably pent up and you want to do that, especially if you've been sitting inside all year, all winter. I always say just take it easy, kind of get your body ready for that type of motion, that type of thing, whether you're strength training or whether you're on the bike or you're running, swimming, any of that. Take it nice and easy. Mm-hmm. Consistency is the key. That's what we kind of build off of. So I think at this time of year, if you haven't put a couple of races on your calendar, you probably want to do that. Yeah. Because it's good to have a plan. If we know what we're aiming for, then it makes it a little bit easier to kind of put that training plan in practice. So you can just go, well, I'm just going to do the same thing every day and kind of hammer out until whatever race day shows up. So I think that's part of it.
Yeah. And I know I'm impatient when it comes to you get back into it. You want to just hop on your bike and go.
Oh, yeah.
Warm up is not my, I have to be reminded that, for warm up. So,
warm up is key. Now. And there's a couple things that I like to tell everybody, especially things you might not think about for the swim. The muscles that you're using the most in the swim, that if you don't activate them before your swim session, probably aren't going to be activated, and you're going to be kind of muscling through this thing, your lats, right? So take a nice spring cord or bungee or tape or whatever, and stretch a little bit, activate those lats just a little bit. It doesn't take a whole lot. A couple minutes of just doing that will then create that circuit with the brain so that when you get into swim, you're actually using that proper muscle group instead of trying to use all the other small muscles in the shoulder. In the shoulder. So that's one of the big keys. For running and cycling, the big thing is that we don't activate our glutes.
Yeah.
So if we're sitting like we are right now, we're just sitting here, our glutes have just turned off. Our brain is just not even sending the signal that way. So when we stand up and start to walk after sitting for a while, there's just no activation in those muscles. We use our hip flexors. We use all these other muscle groups, smaller muscle groups, to pull our legs forward. So I always recommend doing like 15 air squats before you get on the bike. Even on the bike, on the trainer, outdoors, or running especially, do some air squats. Activate those glutes, get those going. Those are probably two of the big things that we need to work on.
Yeah, and I think to your point, just it's going to be consistency in volume. It's not you're not going to get back to your race shape you were last year, in the first week. And it is frustrating, right? You had a number you were running with. This is my average pace, and it was good, and then suddenly you're a minute slower. Like, what happened? Well, you got fat lazy and didn't run, right?
If you took time off over the winter and didn't work out as much as you were, which is okay. It's actually recommended to take a little bit of a break, do some unstructured workouts. Your functional threshold power on the bike will dip a little bit. Everything will come down just a little bit. The idea is to not let your ego get in the way, to retest. Do that FTP number, even if it's going to be lower.
And FTP is? So
that you kind of work from that. So your functional threshold power, that on the bike is kind of key. It is the maximum power you can sustain for 1 full hour. So there's a couple ways to test for that. One of them is to do a ramp test. If you're on Trainer Road, I think Zwift might even have a way to do it.
I think they do too,
the Velocity app I use has a ramp test on it. And basically the ramp test takes you up. You allow the trainer to control the resistance, and you just spin. And then every minute it adds another 6% of resistance onto that fact, and then you just go until you fail. Like, you can't turn the pedals anymore. And then there's a calculation that's done that sets what your power would be that you could hold for 60 minutes. Now, it's not 61 minutes, it's 60 minutes. It's literally, it feels pretty aggressive. I mean, it feels like on a rate of perceived exertion, your functional threshold power, 100% of that should probably be a 7 out of 10 on that for sure. So then when you do your workouts, when you're doing your interval workouts, you're doing your VO2 max and you're doing your threshold work, any of those intervals is based on that number.
So
you want to be above and below. It's a really key number. And then every 6 weeks or so, you want to retest because that number will move up. As long as you're consistent with your training and you're not just hammering yourself with the same level every single workout. You should mix your workouts up.
Because when you see your workout program, it says zone 2. If you don't know what,
if you don't know what that is.
Because your zone 2 is different from mine, right? I have a lower heart rate than, my max heart rate's not as high as yours. So my zone 2 is at a lower number than yours.
And that's your number, right? And I know we get on Strava and we put our numbers up there and we see everyone else can compare against it and go, well, you're only pushing 200 watts. I'm pushing 200 watts. We're the same. No, we're not, right? We've got different ratios, weight ratios and power ratios and all that stuff. So it's your number. It really doesn't matter whatever anybody else is doing at that point. So as long as you can settle yourself down. And I have the same issue that everybody else has. It's just we get out there and we get kind of excited and we want to go hammer. And like it's beneficial for us to ramp up and get a good program in place. And do that.
And like you said, do the proper warm-ups, just kind of take your time to do it and just sort of, you don't have to slam into it all at once. I know around here, and it probably is on other parts of the globe. We're global now. So,
we're global. We are. We have.
So you have some days you have to go indoor and do kind of running on treadmills versus outdoor running. Is there something that you like from like a treadmill run perspective? Do you like to do interval work on that? Do you like to just turn your brain off and?
Treadmill is like training, like the indoor bike trainers for me. The same thing is I think they're great for doing interval work. I think they're a nice controlled environment. You'll be able to kick off some pretty high rates of sprints, doing some threshold and tempo work, the same thing as you would do on the bike. Know that you're getting a little bit of assistance with the motor, unless you're using one of those treadmills that's self-powered, right? Then all bets are off. You're good. So don't be too concerned when you go to do the sprint outside and it's a little bit slower or maybe a little bit more effort to actually hit the same number you were. But I think they're great. Once again, it's something you don't have to worry about a stop sign or cars or people or any of that stuff. You can get out there and this is the best time, the winter and now is the best time to really nail these intervals down because you can really get some good work in that you don't have to worry about anything else. And then as you get more and more outside, the weather gets better. You just reap the benefits from it at that point. So
cool.
That's good.
So let's talk equipment a little bit. It feels like, I know we talked about that in previous episodes. We had an episode about, hey, if you have a little bit to spend, what do you spend it on? If you have more than a little bit to spend.
Yeah.
For me, this is the kind of the time of the year where it feels like you got to get the bike out, check the bike. Is the bike fit still where it needs to be? Because your body's going to be different as you age. You may not be able to get down, slam the front end down and get down really low, or you may want to buy new equipment. It may be a new seat or new pedals or whatever. It's kind of like, hey, I'm going to get my one thing.
Yeah.
Same thing with wetsuits, right? You may be an opportunity to get a new wetsuit this year, those kind of things. So, any suggestions on sort of make sure the fit feels good? Just kind of do a quick little 10-mile test ride or something just to...
Yeah, I definitely get out on the bike. You can get outside, ride outside on the bike, because if you've been inside on the trainer doing all of that, it feels a little different, right? Yeah. Because we don't get that inertia pulling us forward. We're sitting with 100% gravity pulling us down. We're probably really annoyed with it. The other thing is we've probably turned our brain off to being situationally aware on the bike.
It's a really good point.
And you don't realize that even little movements, even if you're doing it down an arrow, on a tri-bike, and you do a little bit of movements that you steer the front of that bike pretty quickly. Yeah. And you're not thinking about it because you're on the trainer, you're locked in, and you're just grabbing your water, doing whatever. And then you get out on the road, and all of a sudden you reach to grab that water, and you turn your bike hard right or hard left.
Really good point. Yeah.
It's scary. Yeah. It's scary to be behind a triathlete that's just coming out of the out of the room, being inside, just following all of that. So I think getting out, riding on the road, getting a feel for it again, and then see how it feels. Right, you might need to make some early season adjustments to your bike fit, or if you've really worked hard over the winter, you've improved. Maybe some tweaks. Maybe you can get more aggressive in your position.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Right, I mean, you've been doing yoga in off season. You've been making a point to do it where we maybe first year on your tri bike and you're pretty high, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm ready to
your
to
core
get
strength.
Low.
Yeah, if you worked on core strength over the winter or through that, or even just last season to this season, your core gets stronger. You can actually hold yourself in a more aerodynamic position. Can be conceived as aggressive, but it's just more aerodynamic, more power driven. Yeah. So you can get into those situations. I think that's one of the things. And then look at all your other equipment. Look at your shoes. See where you're at with your running shoes.
That's a good point.
Are they worn out? They only get so many miles on them. And if you're a bigger guy, then you're definitely going to wear through them a lot faster than the smaller guys.
Okay, I get it. I hear you.
You need to have a bigger.
All right, no, Tom, you said it. You said it out loud.
budget for shoes than some other people. I rip through them pretty quick. So.
Well, there's also some. I know, like my wife and I will psychologically, the shoes are starting to wear out, but getting a new pair also is like it's kind of exciting. It's like, oh, cool, I got a new pair of shoes. I'm ready to go run with it. It's part of the spring stuff. Going back to the bike thing, I think it was kind of interesting. I noticed I've been doing a lot of spin classes indoors. I think you've been hosting a lot of spin classes. There are a lot of folks when it comes to like core and other things. It's like, the joke I have is it looks like people trying to burp a baby because they're bouncing all over the place on that seat. And I know it's a spin class, but at the same time, you put into race what you practice, right?
Yeah.
So having that tight core, having your quads kind of, ready to go when you do that is kind of important to maintain that stability and maintain that. If you're all over the place, especially if you've been doing spin classes in the off, and to your point, you go on a bike and you start doing that same thing, you're going to be A, dangerous, and B, losing a lot of energy because your energy is not being transferred to the pedal. So some of that stuff may not translate to that. So again, back to the same thing, kind of take it easy. When you get on the bike, get reacquainted, like, hi bike, I'm Kenny, bike, that kind of thing. So
because that loss of energy is key. I don't think people realize that enough, that if you're over tense on the bike or you're moving all around, you're just losing energy left and right. You're just burning up energy, and it's not being directly driven down to the pedals. We want to be biomechanically aligned with the mechanical alignment of the bike itself to be able to drive power efficiently. The idea is that you be able to push out watts with less effort. We want to work harder. We don't want to work harder. We want to work smarter at it, basically. So we want to be able to push those watts nice and relaxed. The more you can relax your upper body, you're not putting all this extra stress and tension and burning up all this extra energy. You can ride the bike a lot faster. Plus, you actually have better handling skills on the bike.
And if you're bouncing on that seat, that's the fastest way to a saddle sore. So
oh my God! Yeah,
settle into the seat. That just check to make sure your height. I mean, because if you see hips rocking and all that,
if you're rocking back and forth across the saddle, you're having saddle issues or things are sore. sore, you're getting
pain
saddle sores or something.
Yeah.
Any sharp pain or numbness.
Yeah.
Those are two things to go get your fit checked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fit check first. Saddle would be the second thing. If your fit's not correct and you're having issues like that, it could be just the fit. The saddle might be perfect.
Yeah.
Right. But you're in the wrong position. And it's key to get that. Those are two things. I say you're going to have some discomfort being on the saddle, especially if you've been off it for a little bit. Yeah. It's going to be a little discomfort. There might be a little bit of swelling or something that's in there. And it's just, but that you'll get used to that. You'll get through all of that. You're sitting on a post, for crying out loud. I mean, it's just, it's nuts. But if you're getting any numbness or sharp pain, that's a big no. That's a major no. Yeah. Like that's call.
Yeah.
Call
well,
me.
any spots, right? If your hand's going numb, if you're getting hot spots on your foot, I mean, any connection point, I guess would be, right?
Yeah, you've got your 3 connection points. So those are your touch points on the bike.
Make sure, especially if you're doing long distance or you're doing a lot of hours on that. I mean, those things will exacerbate fast.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
So I was looking at, I thought we'd try to do a segment on new equipment for 2024. And other than the absolute bonkers time trial helmets, if you guys are watching road racing at all, you may have seen it on the socials, but these time trial helmets, these new aero helmets are getting absolutely insanely stupid.
Yeah.
I mean,
POC set the mark and said, hey, we've got an ugly aero helmet.
Yeah.
And then Specialized said, hold my beer. And came out with a head sock, funky helmet on top of that. But Giro this year decided, no, we've got you all covered.
Yeah.
And they just set up probably one of the craziest looking. No, you couldn't pay me enough to put that.
Yeah. So go check it out if you guys want some fun. Go check those things out.
Wow.
It's hilarious. And of course, there's a lot of really smart people in wind tunnels that are trying to do everything they can. These are high end professionals where seconds matter, that kind of thing.
But
for us everyday folk, just get a comfortable helmet that's fairly aero and can breathe, so you can not overheat.
It's nice to be aerodynamic, and we want to watch weight on the bike, and you want to do all that stuff. But it's all it's less than marginal gains for us. And we're just getting started, especially. Don't worry about any of that stuff. You'll be fine.
Yeah, and we'll call you Lord Helmet from Meatballs if you wear one of those. We'll say that.
Actually, let us know what you think of these helmets.
And if you own one, send us a comment. I want to see it. I mean,
especially if you own one.
Yeah, I found a picture of myself 12, 13 years ago with one of those original big-ass teardrop.
I had one of the long
things
ones.
with literally...
I still have it.
Yeah, I do too.
I have it. I have it up in the shop, up on the thing. It was one of the long tails. Then we went to the short tails. Yeah. I have a stub tail.
Yeah.
What do I have? An LG helmet that is very comfortable. It works for me, but it's beyond what it really needs to be. We realize that it doesn't need to be that crazy. Yeah. These helmets still look like nothing compared to this.
Oh yeah, I mean they're insane. So anyway, go check those out. But really, when it comes to technology, the wetsuits seem to be, the bikes are, marginal gains. But the one area that seems to be getting a lot more attention is around running shoes these days.
Yeah.
Especially the high-end ones with carbon fiber plates. And everyone's trying to max the size and that rear rocker, the whole 9 yards. It seems a little insane.
Cushion was good. I mean, Hoka definitely set that game up, how many years ago now? It's been a while now.
It's been a long time, yeah.
But they brought that up. Then adding the rocker plate onto it and getting really funky with some of the other stuff is neat. I mean, it definitely gives you a bump.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely gives you a bump. That's why all the top marathoners and runners are using them. Whether you need it or not is a completely different story. I mean, they are super expensive.
Yeah, it's $275 for the Hoka.
Yeah, and it goes up from there. There's some other ones
Yeah.
that go up even crazier.
Yeah.
And I have to look up. There's one that we're going to need to talk about that you can actually replace just different pieces and parts
no
of
kidding.
it. But it's like a $400 or $500 shoe. But they recycle the parts when it comes back, and then you can get replacement pieces for it. It's kind of weird. I've never tested it out or done anything with it, but it's a different mold going in that direction. But when we get back to the rocker plate type of stuff, I mean, I think it comes down to if you're at that level where you've got some speed and you've got some extra cash just burning a hole in your pocket, besides call me, because I could always take your cash. I'd love to. I would probably get a pair, but I wouldn't train in them.
Yeah.
Because they're only good for a couple hundred miles. I mean, you're going to just rip through them. But for my race this year, I'm tempted to get a pair, try them.
Yeah.
But I would only use them for the week or two before the race and the race. But I wouldn't train in them regularly because I'm a big proponent of using different types of shoes. So
I don't. And so I should probably do that because I just I've always had calf issues. So whenever I left a Hoka, I got punished. And it's 4 weeks of me dealing with,
and
issues.
he gets cranky.
Oh,
it's
I'm mad.
not pleasant.
Because I try to run through it and I don't. Anyway, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
8 times Kenny got cranky. Part 2. So you do a lighter shoe on a faster, right? You do kind of a heavier shoe for a longer distance, and then you have a race shoe. Is that?
I have a lightweight shoe with a drop, and the drop is the level from the heel down to the toe. You'll hear about no drop shoes. You'll hear about drop shoes. It's just
4 millimeter,
all the
8
way
millimeter.
down. 4, 8, 7, 12. Some are get huge. Yeah. So we're not talking about the stack of the shoe. The stack of the shoe itself is just the amount of foam that they have from the bottom of the shoe, like to your foot, right? So there's stack that goes all the way across the length of the shoe. And then what they'll do is they'll raise the stack in the back of the shoe and then taper you down. So put you in
delta.
That,
that's a 4
the delta's
millimeter.
A little different. 4, 7, 5, 8. I think there used to be as much as 12. The idea in the old days was that would roll your foot forward.
Yeah.
So that the idea is that you would heel strike and then roll your foot forward, and it would assist you in kind of going through that. And we realized that heel striking is probably not the best way to run. Yeah. So we've corrected people's running. And then you have the no drop shoes. You have Ultras and a couple of the others that'll come out that have zero drop whatsoever. And at one point they had zero cushion, which for some of us, that doesn't work at all. So what I do is I have a drop shoe. Lately it's been the Hoka Mach 5s. That's my speed shoe. When I'm doing tempo work or I'm doing VO2 max efforts and sprints, that's the shoe I'll use for that. I've liked the Saucony Endorphins, Endorphin Pro without the carbon plate with lots of cushion. Once again, a drop. It's got a little bit of a drop to it, and I'll use that for my long days. And then I have an Ultra that has a little bit of cushion to it, zero drop, and that's my recovery days. That's my easy days. Those are the 3 I run through, and then I have a couple of different trail shoes. Yeah. Same thing, drop, no drop, that I rotate through for those.
Now, and I think it's important to note that Tom is, he's been at this game for a little while. You're leaning into to this race, right? And for those folks that are leaning in, considering a carbon plate, if that's something you're trying to add speed, those kind of things. For the average, for the average person, 1 or 2 pairs of good running shoes, and you and I have talked again. We talked about in a different episode. Big proponents of get a good pair of running shoes, a good pair of tri shorts because it's a contact point. And that's kind of and a safety helmet. That's a safe helmet. But other than that, find yourself, go to your, we are all big proponents of local shopping, right? Yep. Go to your local running store. Make sure you're fit comfortably, and you can find a good pair of shoes, between $80 and $130. If you want to spend more, but it's not, a $275 plated shoe is absolutely not necessary.
You don't need it
to be able to do that. If you're having fun, if you're leaning in and it's important, you're trying to get in a podium or you're trying to get a PR and this is your year to lean in, go nuts. And again, feedback, let us know what you guys do. I don't run with multiple types of shoes. Like I said, just because I've been injury prone, so I just know I run with the Hoka Clifton, and I'll have the new pair, the not so new pair, and then the one that goes to the yard work pair. So
if
the trickle down theory.
Make sure you get them as dedicated running shoes. Yeah. So I know some people that they'll buy their new pair of running shoes, they'll run in them, and then they'll also wear them to the mall or wherever else they're going and running errands and going back and forth, and that just wears the shoe out prematurely. I mean, they're expensive enough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you're spending $100 more than or more. You're going to tear through them a lot faster and just kind of do that. I would always recommend having at least 2 pairs that you can bounce back and forth because they need to dry out. They will get pretty nasty. And if you actually run when it's wet or raining or after the rain or something like that, you want them to be able to dry out, and then you've got another pair to jump to. They can be the exact same shoe, whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, and I haven't. Maybe you guys should know this, and if you do, let us know. But I'm not 140 pounds. I'm not 160 pounds. Oh, really? Right? I'm just a little bit bigger than that. So I don't know if a spring forward, carbon plated shoe for my size is going to
It's going to be worth it.
I don't know. And if you guys have experience where you're a heavier
please
runner,
let us know.
I'm not Clydesdale, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, because muscle man.
Well, I mean,
he's been hitting the gym in the winter. Like, he's just been throwing about heavy objects. So.
Yeah, they call me the dishwasher. I've been stacking the plates, But I don't. Yeah, it's fun to watch these guys running marathons, but they're also $130, right? I mean, they're
less than that.
springy.
If they're wet, they're
right.
Yeah, they're crazy.
So my point is also check your weight as far as like what's appropriate and what you need for stability and like what your gait is, and if your knees are shot, it's you're not going to go buy a speed shoe or whatever. Just
go to your local running store.
What he said,
and build a relationship with them. They're really smart people. They're runners that work in those stores. I mean, that's why they love it. They will help you. And if you're not getting the right thing, go to a different store. I mean, just try it out. But they will help guide you in a sense and get you through that whole process.
And
it's
the
not
reason
that
why
daunting.
and the reason why I harp on like the seat and the shoes and stuff is if you're comfortable, you're training enough as it is. You're doing a lot of hard work, and if you're fighting your equipment at the same time, it's not going to be fun. If you're not looking forward to sitting on a seat because it's uncomfortable, or and if your shoes are making your feet hurt, those you'll tend not to want to go do. Nobody does. Yeah. Right.
It's hard enough to get motivated to get out the door.
Yeah. Making those contact points comfortable, then you can focus on being uncomfortable with the workout itself. Right. There's plenty of other things to be uncomfortable with. Right. And that kind of thing. So absolutely. I think that's why I tend to be a little bit. Make sure your bikes fit correctly, make sure the seats are comfortable, make sure your shoes, those touch points are comfortable, because you have enough to worry about rather than trying to figure that out. Totally. So if it takes, $10, $20 more to do that, then do that. So,
anyway. For sure.
So, any last thoughts on getting ready for the season? Any words of advice other than get off the couch and go? Just go.
Yeah. Find social groups.
Yeah. Oh, good point.
Find some social groups. I think at this point, especially if you've been working indoors a lot, find that tri club, find that running group, find that point. Because you're all going to be in this together at the same point, and that helps keep us accountable. I know it's certainly motivating, be able to be. There's some mornings. Look, nobody wants to get up and do this stuff. We don't roll out of bed thinking like, "Wow, I get to do my workout today." We get into it. It's hard. Once you get going, it's fine. And then you're certainly happy afterwards that you did it. But that extra motivation in the mornings or in the afternoon, evenings, whenever time it is, if you can get with a group, make it a little more social. Yeah. It just takes the edge off of it. It just takes maybe you have conversation, or maybe you can't have a conversation, but you're running next to somebody and you're just in this shared pain cave together. And you just know that they're going through it, and you've got that camaraderie going through, and it feels nicer. Yeah. And the social aspect is huge.
And you may be a motivator for somebody else. You never know, right?
Yeah.
It's not one directional, right? The fact that you're out there too and you're talking and you're enjoying yourself, that just lends to the endurance group for us has been, an extremely positive. Yeah. These folks are very supportive. There's not a lot of egos that are running around. There may be some, but there's always a few, but I mean, it's vast majority are excited for people to get their PRs, excited for people to progress and get better, and just get out there and try. And if it doesn't work, they're there to help you kind of figure it out and get through the next one. So that's a great idea.
And you can join more than one group. I mean, crazy, right? We want to support everybody. I think the community is huge. Here we have, there's at least 4 different triathlon clubs, and they're all amazing people. And there's all cross-pollination between everybody's members of which ones of all of that. So we can go train with different ones depending on what their training schedule is. So look for what your schedule works out to be. Look at the different clubs around you, and then join one of those things. Get in and find the different ones. Maybe you'll find you like one better than the other. Who knows? Or maybe just join all of them and you just get your workouts in. But that's probably the biggest mental hurdle to get through of getting started in the season. So I think that's huge.
That's great. Well, Tom, thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Let us know. Are there new pieces of equipment that you're buying this year that you're pretty excited about? Is there a training program that, if you guys have questions about training programs or where to go, if you have questions about sort of other things, hey, where do I find a good saddle, or where do I do that sort of stuff? Please let us know. We'll
give us some good topics to what you want to hear talk about. We'll be intermixing in some, we've got our Triathletes Journey we just talked about before. We're going to have some great interviews on. We've got some great guests coming on. They're really smart people.
Yep.
Then there's going to be a few of them where we just talk about different products and different things ourselves. So we're going to mix up again like we did last year. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. So give us your thoughts. Give us your thoughts and comments about what you want to hear about, your experiences as well. So all of that would be great. So, and click and subscribe. Get that out there. So thank you very much. We appreciate you all. Kenny, as always.
Tom.
And guys, we'll catch you on the next show.